get you up to speed on the latest in sports, I'm Riza Diaz. After a 260 medal haul in the 2023 SEA Games, focus is now on the coming Asian Games, where the Philippine Olympic Committee hopes for a better haul. POC President Bambol Tolentino is positive Team Philippines will build on its strong showing in the recent Cambodia Games. In the most recent edition of the ASEAN in Indonesia, the country won 19 medals, including 4 golds. The Philippine golf team accounted for 2 of those, while Heidelin Diaz and Marjolin Didal nabbed the other 2. About 410 athletes are in the initial list for the Asian Games, including familiar names like Diaz, Caloyulo, and EJ Obiena. The Asian Games will take place from September 23 to October 8 in Guangzhou, China.
Sigurado malalampasan natin yun. Ayoko pang sabihin yun. Sigurado malalampasan natin. AJ, dito lang katapat na. That's it. So may nakatago ka pang weightlifting, may nakatago ka pang boxing, may nakatago ka pang mag-iiba na yung timpla ng wrestling, judo, and others.
Now, speaking of the Asian Games, Alex Ayala has been inserted into the initial draft of athletes for the quadrennial meet. This was confirmed by POC President Bambol Tolentino, noting that Ayala will play in the individual tennis event. Ayala has been roaming overseas, mostly in Europe, to compete. Ranked at number 262 in the world, Ayala is priming up for the International Tennis Federation tournament in Tunisia. The 18-year-old tennis prodigy can also pick her partner for the doubles event. Limiting foreign connections to a justifiable quantity will be a concern in the next editions of the Southeast Asian Games. The POC says they will raise this in the next meeting of the SEA Games Federation. Host country Cambodia used several imports in various sports like men's and women's basketball, wrestling, boxing, and billiards. Now, this resulted in the country ending up 4th overall in the medal tally with 81 golds. POC President Bambol Tolentino says the number of allowed naturalized athletes as well as their necessary eligibility measures will be discussed for the 2025 Thailand Games. We're taking a time out. The games on One News, or the game rather, on One News One News Now will return after a quick break. Stay tuned. watching the game on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Now, over at the NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics live to fight another day as they avoid eliminations against the Miami Heat in Game 4. Jason Tatum showed up with 33 points on an efficient 14 for 22 shooting along with 11 rebounds. Boston beat the Heat 116-99. Now, despite the win, the Celtics still trailed the Eastern Conference Final Series 3-1. Now, beside Tatum, 5 other Celtics scored in double figures, led by 17 points from Jaylen Brown. The series now returns to Boston for Game 5 on Friday. Now, several top tennis stars have begun training on the grounds for the French Open less than a week before the tournament. Women's world number 1 Iga Swiatek, as well as local hopeful world number 5 Caroline Garcia, were seen hitting balls at Roland Garros. Now, on the men's side, number 7 Andrei Rublev and Russian compatriot Karen Khachanov stepped out to train, as did Dominic Thiem, who is currently working on climbing back up the rankings. The French Open takes place from May 28 to June 11. The men's and women's singles champions are set to receive 2.3 million euros each, or a whopping 138 million pesos. Meanwhile, tourists have mixed reactions on reports that the Paris Olympics organizers are planning to install the Olympic flame on the Eiffel Tower. Sources told Reuters that the flame would not be put on top of the 134-year-old attraction. It was also not clear whether if it would stay on the monument through the duration of the Games. But organizers are reportedly aiming for a dramatic backdrop from the two iconic and historic images. Now, some found it cool, but other tourists said they preferred the flame be installed near a stadium. Now, amid all this, a Paris spokesperson told Reuters that the venue for the flame has not yet been decided.
I think it's super cool, as an American, and we don't have anything like this, and it already looks like a torch.
Maybe it should be near the stadium. But then it still look good on the Eiffel Tower, though, for the world, but yeah.
It's more of a tourist thing if it's on the tower. If it's in the stadium, it's more sports.
Now, get your fill of the latest in sports at onesports.ph. Meantime, the news day continues later at 4:30 in the afternoon. I'll see you then. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.